11 more laps of racing from the X30 senior class for qualifying heat A-E. That is for the two groups in A and E, and that means that Mark Kimber will once again take up residence on the inside line and the front row of the starting grid after his pole position time yesterday and his race 1 win earlier on in the day as well. He is riding very high on the crest of a wave at the moment, is Mark Kimber, but alongside him on the grid is the local star Camille Pruteau, who should be very, very strong. Arnaud Milizia, another of the local drivers, will be sat right behind Mark Kimber and will want to beat Pruteau off the start line. And then we have the Estonian ace Sim Liedmar, who is there on the second row of the grid with him. Britain's Harry Platten, there on the third row of the grid alongside the Belgian Eli Goldstein. And then we have the Frenchman Nicolas Picot alongside the Belgian Noah Rouvers. Xavier Hansheim, another of the top Belgian talents on the grid. And then the Frenchman Pierre-François Duriani is there in fifth row of the grid and 10th position overall. Then we have the two Frenchmen, Milan Petelet and Etienne Chely, on 11th and 12th place. Then we have Sylvester Alexievas, the Lithuanian, along with Jacob Ang on the 7th row. And then we have Sean Butcher from Great Britain and Niels Koelen, the Dutchman, in 8th row of the grid. On the 9th row, it is the Belgian Sebastian Degrand and the Swedish driver Isaac Valtonen. And then we have Romain Leroux on the 10th row alongside Angus Moulsdale in 20th position on the grid. Then the Brit Morgan Porter fighting through the field again, no doubt, with the Belgian Martin Hebet. And then we have Gustav Brandon of Sweden and the other Swede, Robin Knutson. The American, Reese Ushijima, lines up beside the Finn, Valtteri Valkejärvi. Lena Buehler, the Swiss lady, will line up beside the Brit Rufus Hunt. And then we have Toisku Avasco of Finland, Leonardo Paniotto on 30th on the grid. And then 31st is the Frenchman Vincent Cavaliers. So it's going to be an interesting battle over the course of this 11 laps of racing, especially when you consider that Mark Kimber has yet to be beaten here this weekend at Salbris, and he is actually waiting to get into his kart. Everybody else, I think, is pretty much in their karts, other than, I think, Eli Goldstein is the only one who's not. Apologies, that is Sim Liedmar, who is not yet in his kart. They're waiting till the last possible minute, some of these drivers, as they don't want to push themselves too hard. Arnaud Milizia is not quite in the kart yet either. But after a very intense first race, it's going to be an interesting one for the likes of Kimber, Milizia and Platten to do better in their second encounter. All of the drivers in Group E, of course, on the other side of the grid, from Camille Pruteau to Sim Liedmar, Eli Goldstein, Noah Rouvers and Pierre-François Duriani, and everybody on the right-hand side of the grid, if you're looking from the Telemundi media pictures, they have yet to race today. The guys on the left have done, and the other guys have not yet. So it's an interesting one as far as they're concerned. But the drivers are now ready in position as they are getting ready to start this third race of the day for the seniors. Heat number 3. It is for the qualifying heat for the groups in Group A and Group E. So A is on the left-hand side of the grid, the inside line, which is Mark Kimber, Arnaud Milizia, Harry Platten, Nicolas Picot, Xavier Hansheim, and the rest. And on the right side of the grid, if you're watching from the end of the pit lane, it is Camille Pruteau, Sim Liedmar, Eli Goldstein, Noah Rouvers, Pierre-François Duriani, and the rest, as they all battle for position to the first corner. It's going to be an interesting one. The mechanics once again take their customary position on the top of the gantry, just overlooking the pit lane. Signals of the hands galore will go across the circuit as the drivers leave the pits, ready for the third qualifying heat for Senior X30. Kimber, Pruteau, Milizia, Liedmar, Platten, Goldstein, Picot, Rouvers, Hansheim, Duriani, Petelet, Chely, Alexievas, Ang, Butcher, Koelen, Degrand, Valtonen, Leroux, Moulsdale, Porter, Hebet, Brandon, Knutson, Ushijima, Valkejärvi, Buehler, Hunt, Ovasco, Paniotto, and Cavaliers. Mark Kimber on the inside line for pole position will be wanting to do exactly what he did in the earlier heat. He got into the lead, stretched out the advantage, and disappeared into the distance. Having won at Salbris last year, he wants to do it again this year and turn it into what he hopes is a championship attack. He was very well prepared for this time last year, and he's even more prepared for it this time around. So Mark Kimber wants to win this going away and put the Strawberry Racing team right on the top of Senior X30. And it's going to be a tough one with very nearly 80 drivers to compete against over the course of the weekend. He is having an awful lot of hard work to get to the top end of the field. So the senior X30s continue to motor around the circuit. But it will be a tough one for Mark Kimber to defend, with 31 drivers snapping at his heels as they go around. 30 drivers, my apologies, snapping at their heels. And so they're going to be battling away very much with plenty of excitement and much vim and vigor around the circuit as they do so. On the second formation lap we are now, as Mark Kimber will defend to Camille Pruteau on the inside line. Pruteau on the outside line for that turn one. We had a couple of drivers already trying to make it work round the outside and not quite managing to do so. Most famously, of course, Clayton Ravenscroft in his earlier heat, trying to go right round the outside at turn one and finding that Danny Curl was not going to be very helpful to him. So the battle will resume on this particular occasion, and it is going to be an incredible fight between these guys as they form up in formation. Mark Kimber to the inside line, Camille Pruteau to the outside. Then it's Malizia, Liedmar, Platten, Goldstein, Pico, Ruvers, Hansheim, Doriani, Petelet, Chili, Alexievas, Ang, Butcher, Kulen, De Grand and Valtonen giving chase behind, with plenty of other drivers starting from their point of view out of position as well. So they will want to charge through the field. Keep an eye particularly on the likes of Morgan Porter, starting 21st in this grid. So it will be a hard charge. Ready? They're lined up. Here we go. Let's race. Cracking start from the inside line as Kimber moves across. Malizia cuts through into second position. Oh, there's contact for third and fourth place. And that very nearly caused a bit of an issue. There is contact further back. Two karts have ended up in the gravel at turn two. So we've got two karts off the circuit there. Racing continues, and we got more karts off the road a little bit further back as it starts to intensify. Drivers thinking they can move further forward. We've got one stationary at turn two. The other has recovered, but Mark Kimber has got into the lead, no problem at all from his point of view. So Kimber leads, and again, it's Arnaud Malizia in second position. The Frenchman has taken local knowledge in the inside line to his advantage, and they're still battling further around the circuit as more karts are going sideways and battling away for position around the far side of the circuit. Oh, it's getting really tight as they battle away for position, but out in front, it is Mark Kimber who leads the way. Arnaud Malizia in second place, and third, that looks like it's still Camille Pruteau, the 308. They come off the final turns and down the main straight. Mark Kimber out in front, looking strong again. Malizia, Pruteau, the treble two is next. Sim Liedmar, then Goldstein, Pico, Platten, Kulen, Hansheim, Ruvers, Etienne Chili, and Martin Abet. So several drivers have worked their way through the field. Others have come a cropper. We've got one retirement on the far side of turn two. I'm just trying to make out who that is. We'll update you on that in a short while. And the kart who is down in dead last was the one who went with him there, and they were from the middle of the field. So we'll give you an indication as to who that is shortly. Doriani is 13th at the moment from Butcher and Morgan Porter. Porter is up to 15th from Alexievas and Angus Mulsdale coming through. So it was Robin Knutson and Lena Bueller who were out of the race on that first lap. I'm not sure if Lena Bueller even took the start, but Robin Knutson out of the race on turn two, and I think the other one down the order is Jacob Ang, actually, as Pruteau goes for second place on Malizia. Camille Pruteau gets into second position, and that's exactly where he wanted to be. So Camille Pruteau goes for the move and takes second place off from Arnaud Malizia. So it's now Kimber, Pruteau, Malizia, Goldstein, Liedmar, Pico, Platten, Kulen, Noah Rivers, and Xavier Hansheim now breaking into the top 10 in front of Etienne Chili and Martin Abet. Doriani's there in 13th place still. Sean Butcher in 14th. Morgan Porter 15th. Coming through the field nicely, making some good overtaking moves. 16th place, that looks like Angus Mulsdale has moved his way forward. So great work from Mulsdale to get himself firmly into the top 20. Then it is Isaac Valtonen, Sylvester Alexievas, De Grand, Petelet, Ushijima, Panayotu, Valkyavi, Ovasco, Cavalles, Hunt, Brandon, and Jacob Ang trying to recover. He's actually made his way past Romain Leroux. So good work so far. But unfortunately, that's no recompense at all for Robin Knutson, who was off there at turn two. So Knutson is now a spectator watching the racing, and that is not what he wanted to be. Now, Arnaud Malizia looks like he might be in a little bit of difficulty here. Eli Goldstein has closed right up. So here comes Eli Goldstein trying to make the move. And if Eli gets an opportunity, he will be straight through on the inside line. Here he goes. Eli Goldstein dives to the inside of turn two. Formidable. That was absolutely beautiful. So Eli Goldstein storms through, and now he's going to have some pressure from Sim Liedmar. Liedmar's going to try to go for Arnaud Malizia too now. But Eli Goldstein cracks third position and breaks away. So this is good news for Goldstein. A great overtaking move from Eli Goldstein into third position there behind Camille Proteau, but they're only half a second behind Mark Kimber. So Kimber is definitely not having it as easy as he was in the earlier heat, because Camille Proteau is already much closer than he was before. Through 11 comes the leader, Mark Kimber. Camille Proteau giving chase. Through 12, through 13, quick flick left-hander. Down the short stretch to 14. Going well for Mark Kimber, but Camille Proteau is definitely closer. Eli Goldstein is there in third position. Malizia and Liedmar both run a little bit ragged through the curb on the exit of 14, and that will not compromise them very much through the last couple of corners, but it will definitely make them think twice about where they position their car a lap from now. Nicolas Picot has come up to 6th place. Harry Platten is 7th. Then it is Niels Kullen, Noah Rivers, Xavier Hansheim. Martin Abet has got past Etienne Chely, and it looks as though we've got a retirement coming up at the far side of the circuit. Coming into the pits, we have a retirement. I'm not sure who it is. We'll try and update you on it. Mark Kimber, fastest lap of the race, although in the first sector, Eli Goldstein is the fastest in sector 1. So the 298 Eli Goldstein is going faster than he has gone before. So who is it that's gone out of the race? I think it is Valtteri Valkeajarvi. Valtteri Valkeajarvi is out of the race. So too is Romain Leroux. So we've lost 4 of them now. We've lost Buehler, Knudsen, Valkeajarvi and Leroux. So 4 drivers out of the race, I'm afraid. Mark Kimber leading. Camille Proteau 2nd place. Eli Goldstein in 3rd, and has dropped Arnold Malizia into the clutches of the Estonian Sim Liedmar. So Liedmar coming onto the back of Arnold Malizia. Down into turn 1. Top 5 have got a nice gap over Nicolas Picot. Harry Platten is there in 7th place, trying to challenge Picot. Noah Rivers is on the back of Niels Kullen as well, as those two battle away for 8th position. And then in 10th place, it is the Belgian Xavier Hansheim. Down the back straight, Arnold Malizia doing everything he needs to keep Sim Liedmar at bay at the moment. Likewise, in the battle for 6th and 7th place between Picot and Platten, as those two battle away still. Angus Millsdale has moved his way forward to 13th, now ahead of Duriani and Morgan Porter, with Sylvester Alexievas now up into 16th place. The Lithuanian side by side, battling away for position. And it looks as though we've had a position change there in the mix. Is that the 6th place battle? I think that might be Platten having got through. It is. Platten has got through past Nicolas Picot. So Harry Platten up into the top 6. Good work from the BMR driver. Oh, he slices across on Nicolas Picot on the way out of the corner. So Mark Kimber takes the lead and tries his best to extend it from Camille Proteau. But Proteau's got trouble of his own now. Eli Goldstein is closing up. Goldstein with the fastest lap, a 61.639. Up on the inside, that's a big dive late into the corner for the 284. That's Noah Rivers making the move on Niels Kullen. So Noah Rivers gets up into 7th position. I think that is actually now past Nicolas Picot. No, my apologies. It was for 8th position, and it was past Niels Kullen. So Rivers is there into 8th place now. Still good battles everywhere you look around this circuit as everyone challenges for position. We've lost 4, Valkeajarvi, Leroux, Knudsen and Buehler from the race, so there's only 27 still going. And the leader of those is Mark Kimber. But look at Eli Goldstein, up to 2nd place now. Goldstein has made the move on Camille Proteau. So now Eli Goldstein has got up into 2nd place. Good work there from Goldstein. The Belgian working very hard indeed there to get up into P2. Local knowledge definitely coming into play. And Goldstein's first heat of the weekend is definitely now going to be a good one as he charges after Mark Kimber. The gap is 1 second. Can he make that up in 4 laps? I'm not sure he can, but he's going to give it the best shot he possibly can. Sim Liedmar still giving pressure to Arnold Malizia as they battle away over 4th place. There is a titanic grudge match going on further back down the order from Martin Abet downwards. Oh, a bit of a tussle further back into turn 5, and it's going to go 2-3 wide. Possibly a little bit of fisticuffs as they go down the back straight. It's all getting a little bit confused and mixed up. That's Morgan Porter moving up to 14th. Butcher up to 15th. Valtonen moving up to 16th place. It was Pierre-François Duriani who ended up going down the order down to 17th place in front of Milan Petelet. And Sylvester Alexievas down to 19th in that as well, ahead of Sebastien Degrand. So a lot of good battling there in the midfield. For the moment, Eli Goldstein still running quite confidently there in 2nd place. But Camille Proteau is trying to come back at him in 3rd place. But Mark Kimber leads the way. 2nd place for Eli Goldstein in front of Camille Proteau. Proteau trying to come back. Malizia holding off Liedmar. But Mark Kimber running comfortably in the lead of this race for Great Britain and has just done a 61.625, the fastest lap of the race. So Kimber, Goldstein, Preto, Malizia, Liedmar, Platten in front of Pico. Absolutely amazing racing so far in the Senior X30's third heat of the day for this class. Second race for some, only the first race for others, which just shows you how impressive things currently are for Eli Goldstein. Eli Goldstein doing an absolutely terrific job considering this is only his first race of the day. And it has changed dramatically as far as he's concerned. Into second position, trying to get away from Camille Preto. But at the end of this lap, there will be just 2 to go. 2 laps left, and this is going to be a tough one for Eli Goldstein to hang on to in front of Camille Preto. Arno Malizia has got a bit of breathing space between himself and Sim Liedmar, and that will do for now. 6th is Harry Platten, then it's Nicolas Picot, Noah Ruvers, Niels Kulan, Xavier Hansheim, Angus Mulsdale now up to 11th place, Martin Ebet up to 12th from his 22nd position starting point, the Belgian. 13th is Etienne Chelly, then it's Morgan Porter in 14th ahead of Sean Butcher, Isaac Valtonen, Milan Petelet, Pierre-Francois Doriani, Sébastien Desgros now in front of Sylvester Alexievas, then Ushijima, Cavaliers, Ovaska, Rufus Hunt in 24th position, 25th at the moment. Just outside that group is Jacob Ang, Leonardo Paniotto and Gustav Brandin finishing off the field for the moment. We've lost 4 of them, 4 retirements, but Kimber still holds that 1 second lead over Eli Goldstein and Camille Preto. And with 1 lap to go at the end of this turn, Mark Kimber is going to be sitting pretty, looking at 2 heat wins from 2 starts. But Eli Goldstein, very ominous behind him as he chases him down. Here we go. 1 lap to go for Mark Kimber. He leads the way for Strawberry Racing. And the Brit has been absolutely masterful so far today. Qualifying yesterday saw him faster than anybody else. And here at Salisbury, he rules the roost in Senior X30. And is easily the favourite to win the whole thing, but he's got a long way to go till he gets there. But leading the way comfortably from Eli Goldstein, who has completely dropped Camille Preto in these last couple of sectors. Camille Preto just can't keep up with him. So Kimber leads. Goldstein is within a second of him now, so he has tightened up. But Camille Preto has dropped back to about 0.8 of a second away. Arnold Malizia has got a bit of breathing space over Sim Liedmar, but the checkered flag is being prepared, and Mark Kimber's going to get it. Up towards turn 14. Kimber still running well in front of Eli Goldstein. He doesn't need to push at this point. He just needs to continue the kart to push it home in the final couple of corners through 15, through 16. Mark Kimber sees the checkered flag, and he's made it 2 wins out of 2. A good start for Kimber. Goldstein second. Camille Preto is third. Arnold Malizia in front of Sim Liedmar and Harry Platten. Nicolas Picot from Noah Ruvers, Niels Kulan and Xavier Hansheim with Angus Mulsdale and Martin Ebet on the top 12. Then it is Etienne Chelly from Sean Butcher, Isaac Valtonen, Morgan Porter in 16th from Milan Petelet, Sylvester Alexievas. Reese Ushijima comes through for 19th in the end in front of Pierre-Francois Doriani. Then it is Vincent Cavaliers from Rufus Hunt, Toisko Avaska, Jacob Ang in 24th. I think we had a little bit of melee on the last lap, which is why we've lost a couple. Yes, Sébastien Desgrands is down and out. Gustav Brandin and Leonardo Paniotto are the last 2 across the line. Now it looks as though we are going to get the man in 27th place coming across the line eventually, but problems for Sébastien Desgrands in the final reckoning. So it's Kimber from Goldstein, Preto, Malizia, Liedmar, Platten, Pico, Ruvers, Kulan, Hansheim, Mulsdale, Hebet, Etienne Chelly, Sean Butcher from Valtonen, Porter, Petelet, Alexievas, Ushijima, Duriani, Cavaliers, Hunt, Ovaska and Jacob Ang. And then at the back of the field in 25th position, we will have Brandin, Paniotto and Sébastien Desgrands with retirements, I'm afraid to say, from Valkiavi, LaRue, Robin Knutson and Lena Bueller.